name is Khalil Kirkendall. I'm a mindfulness educator with MCPS. Welcome to today's segment focused on neuroplasticity. Today, we will explore and discuss just this idea of our brains. You know, we think about neuro, because that's a really interesting word, neuroplasticity. But neuro has to do with the brain and the functioning of our brain. And how can we, and plasticity, you know, if something is plastic, it's very flexible. And so we just are going to take a few minutes to look at the brain functioning in very positive ways and how we can reframe and make some shifts, you know, use this tool called neuroplasticity as a strategy to help us to shift and change, you know, our brain and our thinking. So before we do that, I want us to begin with just some breathing and just some light stretching just to get into our bodies, use our breath to help calm our minds and relax so that we can be extremely sharp and creative. So I am seated in a chair as if I'm actually at my desk. So I'm seated in a chair at my desk. I'm going to scoot myself up a little bit and come forward in my chairs. I'm going to make sure that my ankles or my knees are over my ankles. I'm going to make sure that my feet can touch the floor, whether you have on shoes or not. And I'm just going to rest my hands on top of my knees. I want my spine to be straight. Sometimes when I'm seated in a chair, I'll slump my back. But today I want to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to relax my arms and shoulders down and back and just take a moment to breathe. And remember, when we breathe, we are inhaling through the nose. Just like I'm blowing up a balloon, I'm going to exhale through the nose. I'm inhaling through the nose. I'm exhaling through the nose. One more time, I'm inhaling and exhaling. Nice, nice. All right, so I'm just gonna do a nice little stretch, and all I'm gonna do is just reach the back of my chair. There we go. And I'm gonna turn my head so that I'm twisting my upper body, twist, turn, and release. Coming back to my center, turning, grabbing the other side, twist and turn and stretch the spine. Come back to our center, take a deep breath. Exhale. Maybe rotate the shoulders up and back. Just take a moment, releasing any tension in the shoulders, the neck. Maybe just taking a moment to say yes, bringing your chin to your chest, back of your head to your nape of your neck, saying yes to yourself. Coming back to the center. No to those things that you don't want. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Coming back to our center. Inhale and exhale. All right. I think we're ready to talk about neuroplasticity. So I want you to take a moment to think about this question. Are we capable of changing the way our brain thinks or works? So I don't know, someone once said, we have so many millions of thoughts a day. And some of these thoughts are repetitive. And when I mean repetitive, we think certain things all the time, you know, just certain things we just know, the brain. It's called a neural pathway. So again, my question to you, are we capable of changing the way our brain thinks and works? Or is our brain fixed in its ways? It just thinks the way it thinks, and it just does what it does, right? Can we control it? So I don't know, just think about that. How many of you out there really think it's possible for us to change the way our brain thinks and works? How many of you think, again, the brain is fixed in its patterns of thoughts? So we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to watch a 2-minute video, and we're going to see a little bit more and learn about neuroplasticity. So I'll see you back in a few seconds.
Not so long ago, many scientists believed that the brain did not change after childhood, that it was hardwired and fixed by the time we became adults. But recent advances in only the last decade now tell us that this is simply not true. The brain can and does change throughout our lives. It is adaptable, like plastic. Hence, neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. How does neuroplasticity work? If you think of your brain as a dynamic, connected power grid, there are billions of pathways or roads lighting up every time you think, feel, or do something. Some of these roads are well-travelled. These are our habits, our established ways of thinking, feeling, and doing. Every time we think in a certain way, practice a particular task, or feel a specific emotion, we strengthen this road. It becomes easier for our brains to travel this pathway. Say we think about something differently, learn a new task, or choose a different emotion. We start carving out a new road. If we keep travelling that road, our brains begin to use this pathway more, and this new way of thinking, feeling, or doing becomes second nature. The old pathway gets used less and weakens. This process of rewiring your brain by forming new connections and weakening old ones is neuroplasticity in action. The good news is that we all have the ability to learn and change by rewiring our brains. If you have ever changed a bad habit or thought about something differently, you have carved a new pathway in your brain and experienced neuroplasticity firsthand. With repeated and directed attention towards your desired change, you can rewire your brain.
All right, how did you like that video? Fun, huh? All right, so now that we understand a little bit more about neuroplasticity, I'm just going to reiterate some of what we learned in our video. And of course, neuroplasticity, we learned that it's the ability of the brain to adapt to new circumstances and input. So what does that mean? So this is the reason why we are able to constantly learn something new. No matter how old you are, you can always learn something new. And so let's take an example. An example is how many of you can ride a bike? I can ride a bike. How many of you were born knowing how to ride a bike? Not me. And think about, let's just think about the bicycle and learning to ride a bicycle. How did you learn to ride a bicycle? Just think about this. At first, your body, I remember I saw my first bike. It was nice. It was shiny. It was big. I was still taller than my bike, but my bike was really big. And I had no understanding of how to ride the bike. I saw the pedals. I saw the tires. I had an idea, but I had never ridden a bike. So I didn't know. So I got on the bike, and honestly, I failed, the whole thing was about balance. And so learning how to move the wheels and to stay on without falling. And so many times I failed. Many times I fell off my bike. Many times I had to get back on the bike and keep trying. But when you think about that, each time or each failure created a new learning of what not to do, and what that is called is a neural pathway. We, just by the repetition, doing it over and over and over again, I learned what not to do. Okay, if I want to ride this bike, I'm going to have to, learn how to balance. I'm going to learn how to move those pedals. I'm going to learn how to center my body and keep the bike right in the center. And so the brain now, my brain, your brain, had a process on how to move our feet, how to coordinate those movements with our hands, how to stay balanced at the same time. So you have just learned how to ride your bike. And that's how we learned how to ride the bike. Now, it doesn't matter when is the last time you've gone bike riding? Maybe more recently now, but even if you forget, how to ride a bike, it all comes back because that neural pathway, so I learned how to ride a bike in 9, and I maybe didn't get back on a bike until I was 25, so here I am. My body, those neural pathways, my brain still knows what to do and how to do it. So that is neuroplasticity. That is really exercising your brain's ability to be really flexible, to learn new things. Because as we learn new things and we practice new things, those neural pathways are open throughout the brain, throughout the body, as we're learning how to learn whatever the new skill is. So today, I mentioned earlier, you all are going to have an opportunity to do what we call, it's really fun or finger gym exercise. And at first, it's going to seem a little bit challenging, but with practice, you're going to be able to do it without even thinking about it. Just like you can ride a bike with your eyes closed. I don't know if we would. I wouldn't ride a bike with my eyes closed, but I can get on, I can put my hands on the handlebars. I know how to put my feet on the pedal, and I know how to balance myself. So I can do that. Those pathways are in my brain. I can go for it. So let's just take a pause, and I'm gonna cut on another video. And after we watch the video, I want you to just see if you can keep up. These are some high school students in China, and they're doing this finger gym exercise. I find it to be a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that you will too. So I'll be right back. All right. How was that? All right. How was that? All right. How was that? 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 How Oh my God, I hope that you enjoyed it. That was so much fun the first time, and it took me maybe like 10 tries. I'm still working on how to do my hands, but lots and lots of fun and an awesome way to create new neural pathways and to practice this whole mindfulness tool of neuroplasticity. So I want you to know, and I hope that you've had fun today. Today was a lot of fun, neuroplasticity. But more importantly, I want you to know that these principles can be applied to many other aspects of your life. And I want us to consider how to apply the concept of neuroplasticity to mindfulness and self-improvement. Okay, so just knowing that you have the ability to literally train your brain, how does this affect? Just think about it. How does this affect the way you think about how you would approach life? If the brain can be taught concepts at any age, whether we are 2, 22, or 92, we can learn new concepts. And science has proven that neuroplasticity is real and it does work. And it can be, when you think about that, we can teach ourselves to focus on positive thoughts. We can teach ourselves new habits. Let's just say we have a really bad habit that, we really want to stop and we want to create a good habit. And so the more we begin to do and practice the new habit, we weaken the old habit. And we also create new neural pathways, neuroplasticity, we're using it so that we can create the life that we would like with ourselves, with our friends, with our families, with our teachers, with our community, however that looks for you. So remember that mindfulness is the science of self-development. So practicing this technology places you in a position to direct the quality. Now listen to that, the quality of your thoughts and your learning. And just think about how liberating that can be. So I hope you've enjoyed learning about the tool of neuroplasticity. And I hope that you take the opportunity to really utilize these tools because you have all of the power and all of the control. So enjoy the rest of your time, and I hope that we see you again soon. 365. Thank you so much.